welcome back to Demi Dad's Saturday Sit Down. Today is Saturday, the 27th. Saturday, February 27th. Welcome to where you can just come and be family and just relax and admit that we're all weirdos and we can be weirdos together. So welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who is watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you. We're trying to get some more platforms for the podcast to be available on shortly. But yeah, so we're back. I know I've been kind of sporadic with posting and I'm going to keep apologizing for it, but I'm also not going to keep apologizing for it because life happens and it is what it is. You know, we're all busy. We're all doing stuff. So yeah. Anyway, I reached out to you guys this week to just kind of open the conversation and talk about, you know, some of the issues that we've seen with dealing with our anxiety and our depression and victories that we've had and things that we've learned and things that we've overcome. And what I learned from even just putting the question out there is, wow, there is so much power in literally just talking about it. Literally just opening that conversation and opening the door. Like the response was overwhelming. And I knew that there's people out there that were close to me or that even aren't close to me, but are in my kind of social circle. I mean, your social circle can be huge with the power of social media right now. But I knew that there's people out there who were struggling or who have had victories or have had issues and things like that I didn't know about. And it just came to light that we are not so different from one another. We really aren't. We're different in, you know, maybe our day-to-day lives, but when it comes down to who we are as people and sorry, one sec. When it comes down to who we are as people and things we struggle with and things that we deal with that we keep bottled up, we're really not that different. So, I mean, we're all hurting. We're all not okay, and that's okay. Boom, that's going to be the title of this episode. It really is okay to not be okay. What's not okay is to, and I've seen this, and this is one of my frustrations with, you know, telling people that I have anxiety or that I have depression or things like that, is a lot of people, it's not okay to have these issues and not do anything with them or do anything for them, but instead to use them as like a crutch or to make it so that the rest of the world has to revolve around you and adapt to coddle you. That drives me nuts because then you're not a victim, you're just playing the victim. And it drives me absolutely crazy because there's no growth in that. There's no health in that, really. If you're dealing with stuff and you're just dealing with it and complaining about it and not making those steps to move forward or even acknowledge that we're not perfect, it just really drives me nuts. So, but yeah, so it's okay to not be okay. We're all not okay, but it's not okay to use it as an excuse for your behavior because that creates toxicity and that's going to create issues in relationships and friendships. And then that's when you kind of start to look like the weirdo, you know, like if you have anxiety, like social anxiety, like I have social anxiety. We're going out with a group of friends tonight that I haven't seen in forever. It feels like. And I know we're going to be eating dinner at a restaurant and it's going to be fun, but I'm going to have to prepare myself. But if I go to that event and all I talk about is how you can't do what you're doing or you can't say that because it's going to affect my anxiety, it's going to put me into depression, that's you controlling others with your own issues that you're not controlling. Because we're all out of control with whatever issues we have, but we can bring the reins in a little bit. and realize that we have control over ourselves and we have no control over anybody else. Sorry, I don't mean to vent. That's just something that drives me nuts. You kind of get the Valley Girl response of like, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious right now, when really they don't have any idea what anxiety really is at its core. When it's really you're just nervous because a boy won't text you back, or anyway. So there with great issues comes great responsibility, because you not only have to manage your own life and your own things, but you also have to not manage the people around you that may have a bigger effect on you than it would if you weren't struggling with something, if that makes sense. But anyway, like I was saying, I reached out to you guys and opened the door for just, conversation, and the response was overwhelming. I'm just going to read some responses, and I'm going to keep this episode kind of short. Like I said last week, I'm going to try and keep it between, 15, 20 minutes ish, and I went way over. So I'm going to try and keep it more tight this time. So I reached out. I said, filming my podcast to my friends who have ever struggled with anxiety, depression, or any other things. Is there anything you'd like brought up on the podcast? Questions you have, things you struggle with, victories you found, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be 100% anonymous, but people who wanted it to be anonymous texted me or messaged me privately. People who didn't want it to be anonymous just posted right there on social media. So I'm going to leave names out still, but I'm going to read just some of these comments. This comes from blank blank. Anxiety and depression do not mean that you are weak or that you're not a good Christian who's close to God. That hits deep. I love that. Those were lies that I've had to overcome with my anxiety and depression. Yeah, that's another one of my pet peeves, is when I'm saying I'm struggling with anxiety or something, and someone says, "Well, you just need to pray about it. You need to pray a little harder. You need to, recheck, your relationship with Christ and stuff like that." And I think I said this on my last podcast. A lot of the times I do need to do that. Not a lot of the times. Some of the times, I even if that's not the cause of my anxiety, it's always good to just realign yourself, get your priorities in straight. If you're a Christian, pray about it, talk to God about it, talk it out, because there's no negative in that. But to say that that's what's causing all your issues, I could have the best relationship with God and be totally in my disciplines and, reading the Bible and doing my devotions and all that stuff. But I can still be anxious even if that relationship is great. So I just hate that cop out. Someone else posted that they had actually posted on their social media talking about how they started taking medications and taking responsibility for their anxiety, and they again just had an overwhelmingly amazing response. People reaching out, people standing up for each other and supporting each other, and that's what I love. And they related. Let me see if I can find it. I wear glasses for the same reason. I know that God has the power to heal my eyes and give me perfect vision, but I'm very grateful for glasses. That just makes sense. Yeah, God can do whatever he wants. He can cure me of anxiety. He can cure me of everything. He can cure me so I don't have to wear glasses. But I still wear glasses. So why not take medicine? Why not? Granted, don't take all the medicine in the world. Take the right medicines. Find the right medicine that works for you. Work closely with your doctor or your therapist. And again, therapy. Go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's great. You're going to become a better person because of it. There's no shame in getting therapy. Good segue. There's no shame in getting therapy, and there's no shame in needing medication. Little victories are still victories. Yeah. I was talking to my wife about this recently. When on a day where I'm feeling really anxious, or I know that I could potentially feel anxious or have an anxiety attack at some point, I know this is new, that if I just find a quick victory, Like if I like make my bed or our bed, if I make our bed or I, clean up my office area or I do the dishes or something like that and find a victory or even like do a workout, then it just changes the tone of my day and it changes my mindset. And I think that's super powerful to realize that victories are victories and you're finding victory over your issues, even if a victory that you found had nothing to do with your issue. I'm going to say victory a couple more times. Victory, victory. Another key word for me was grace. I needed to give myself grace and stop holding myself to the expectations of others. Stop comparing my struggle and my journey with that of others. And stop feeling like a failure when I could do some days, when all I could do some days was to just breathe. Depression, anxiety are something I've struggled with a lot, especially in my adult life. If you have to be more in depth, if you want to have a more in-depth conversation or specific questions, the answers, I'm always available. See, that's just that open door concept. Medication and therapy can help, and they're sometimes necessary, but you also need to be eating, sleeping right, and give yourself a fighting chance. Reading good books, spending some time outside, having positive human interactions, exercising, medication, limiting social media can also go a long way, and I 100% agree with that. If you're not taking care of yourself, then you can take all the medication in the world and it's just going to be, you're going to become dependent on the way that medication makes you feel. I had a therapist once I told her I didn't want medicine because I'm prideful and I wanted to do it on my own. But this is funny, she recommended a book to me called Joy, Being Joyful for No Reason. And I never bought the book. I never read it, but somehow even just the title made me look at life differently. and I started to choose joy because again, being happy is what the word happiness, if you break it down, is what happens to you. It's your outcome of a result of what you're going through. It's a result of your circumstances, but you could be joyful in the worst times. Like even in the storm, I will praise you even louder. Like it's a choice to be joyful and find joy. Here's another one. I often find that my depression is a result of my anxiety and vice versa, a vicious cycle. Getting out of bed and taking a shower is a huge accomplishment. Again, even just taking a shower, throwing your clothes in the laundry. I hate laundry because it takes all day if you do it right. I mean, if you put it in the washer and just leave it there like I do, then yeah, it's not a victory. But yeah, find those victories. Find ways to not really mind hacked, but just find those little goals, those little steps that you can take every day to just be closer to what it is that you want to be. And you want to be someone who's working on their health and their mindset and you want to be a person that people want to be around. You want to be a person that you would want to be around. And most of the time we're not that. I know I'm not. I don't know how my wife hangs around me all the time because I feel like there's a person I want to be and there's a person I am, and getting to that person I want to be is just so difficult because I'm holding myself back. Let's see. There's one more that was really good. Oh, there's one more that they messaged me privately and just talked about the struggle of, being a Christian and dealing with these things because it makes us sometimes look like, to other people that we're not a good Christian and our faith isn't right or whatever. And it's total bull honky on that because, like I said before, you can have the greatest relationship. Your relationship with God could be as solid as it can be, but you can still have issues. And I also mentioned this recently too. I had this conversation. If we're not uncomfortable, sometimes it's hard for us to allow God to work. Like if everything's going great in our life, we tend to, as a people, not give God the steering wheel. We tend to think everything's fine, and then we don't call on God until things go bad. So, which is not how it should be, but a lot of the time, unfortunately, that's how it is. But you have to find a way to love and appreciate those times when we're uncomfortable, and we have to have faith, because that's how you grow. You grow from being uncomfortable. You grow from being hurt and getting through those hard times. This next one actually comes from a therapist and a parent. They loved all the comments and wanted to add, if you are a parent and your child needs meds, do not think you're a failure. And I'm going to go so far as, if you need meds, do not think you're a failure as well. And then, just like it was said in the comments, you would get your kids glasses. Why not get them meds? And that's coming from a therapist who has children, or a child who's on meds and has had massive improvement and massive success with that. That is awesome. That is great, because when you get the right medicines, again, okay, I'm not a doctor. Don't take anything I say as medical advice. Go see your doctor. Go see your therapist. I'm just a dude who has issues and wants to talk about it. Sorry, I had to throw that disclaimer in there. If you are in such a place where you cannot get into the right mindset, then there's going to be no growth. If meds are necessary for you to live your life and be happy and be able to move forward, then absolutely do it. Again, I'm not a doctor. Don't take my advice. I'm just a dude. Also, the need for kids to be on meds and parents delay out of guilt. Let me make sure I'm quoting this person right. So in this person's experience, they may have delayed medicines because they felt like they were not a good parent, when really there's no shame in getting your kids help. A good therapist. You also need to find a good therapist, because not every therapist is a good fit, also from personal experience. Yeah, I am trying to establish care with a new therapist. I've left a voicemail and they never called me back. So apparently I don't think it's going to be a good fit, because I'm already like, why won't this person call me back? I'm already having doubts. It's COVID season. Maybe they're not accepting patients, but the website said they were. So anyway, I'm going to keep trying. But yeah, fine. Search around. It's like, if you're not going to wear a shirt if it doesn't fit right, or if you don't like the color of it. Find a good fit. It's important. It's important because it's you we're talking about, and you are important, and you deserve to take care of yourself. So anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I'm at like the 19-minute mark. So great weekend, great March as we go into March of 2021. Hopefully it's nothing like March of 2020, but I digress. I love you guys. Go do something kind for somebody today. Be the light that you need to see for somebody else, if that makes sense. All right. Peace.